if we didn't have enough to do here in Ozzy's Oddities, we dragged home a bobsled. You know, ever since I was a little kid, listening to the farmers bring their cream cans, milk into the creamery in town here, I'd hear those sleighs go by in the morning before I even got out of bed. I'd hear them sleighs, and I can still hear the horses clomping, and I can still hear the sleigh bells ringing. But I always admired the sleigh, the bobsled. So I had an opportunity to buy a bobsled, and well, everybody kind of frowned at me and thought I was absolutely crazy, but you know what? I bought it. I brought it home, and now we're going to fix it up. We're going to make it all new. We're going to put all new wood in it, oak. We're going to redo the metal. We're going to make it new. I don't even have a horse, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but it'll be interesting. But it's something I always wanted to do, so we're going to take this. We're going to work on one bolster at a time. This is the bolster here. This is the front one where the kingpin goes through, holds it all together. And we're going to cut new runners and we're going to take it all apart. First of all, that's the first thing we're going to do is take everything apart on here. And these bolts are rusted for the last 150 years, so you know what? They're going to be a problem. And you can't use a little propane torch because it's too small. I don't have an acetylene torch, so I was going to use my blowtorch. And I was going to fire that up today, and I started looking at it, and I don't have any fuel for it. And I hate using regular gas in it because I always figure it's going to blow up in my face. And one time it almost did. It turned into a flamethrower. It was really interesting. But we shut that down, but so I got to get some fuel. I get some Coleman fuel and put it in there, and I'll fire it up. And then I'll heat all these nuts up, get them all off. These are all square. All square. They're old. Yeah. So we'll take it down to the shop. Okay. Let's take it side.
Sure.
Okay. This is the back end. That's the front.
Will it fall apart while we're carrying it?
Probably. But we don't care about that. It's going to fall apart anyway. Got it?
Yeah.
Look at mud. You need to put a saddle or a bridle on this way. I need a horse to it when I get it done. How you doing back there? We got it going. Look at this sleigh. Isn't this a beauty? Right in the shop. Okay. That looks good. There. Yoo-hoo! You want to get the other part that goes on top of this bowl?
As well, yeah.
Okay. There you go. You're good. Well, here it is, everybody. It's in the shop now, and it's ready to be worked on. And this is the front bolster of the bobsled. It's a small one. It's not a large bobsled. This is just a light bob. I don't know what you call it for sure, but this is the front bolster. This is the kingpin. Right here's the kingpin, and this is where it rides on, and that's the bolster that sits on top of this. So I don't know what the terminology of these are. I'll look it up for you. But that sits on top of here, and this reach that's the reach. I know that's what it's called. That goes to the back bolster. And that's still in the shed, but we want to do one at a time because I don't have room in here. I got too many projects going. But anyway, what we're going to do is take all these bolts. Now these are old and rusted and tight, and I tried with a little propane torch with no luck. So, like I said, I don't have an acetylene torch, so I'm going to use my blowtorch up there, and I'm going to fire that up when I get some fuel, and I'll heat those nuts up really good, and I'll take them off and get all the metal apart. Now on the runners. One thing I liked about this bobsled is it's got cast iron runners, and those are the good ones. they make the nice sound on the snow. Right here, this runner on this sled is cast. It's cast iron, where the cheaper models had just a steel on there, just a piece of steel, and that wasn't as good. But this cast iron is really something. This one here is in the shed. It's partially broke, but I got to get that and put it on here. We're going to take all these bolts off, and all these rivets have to be cut off here, and we're going to take all the metal off, and we're going to copy this measurement, and we're going to make, I got the material for the wood. I got some really nice white oak, and it's curved. It's curved, and that's another story. I went and got it. An Amishman had a sawmill, but he didn't have any trees to cut. And I told him what I was planning on doing, making a sled, and he says, "Oh, you got to have a piece of oak with a curve in it." And this, you can see the grain. It's curved right in up here. And he says, "You know, I don't have any tree. By golly, there is an oak tree on the front lawn," he says. Right in the front lawn of his house was this beautiful oak tree. And he says, "You see that branch up there? That'd make a perfect sled right there. It's curved and it'd be nice." And I says, "Well, when you get some material, let me know." So he called me up. They got a phone booth out there, and they called me up and one day, and he says, "Come on over here. I think I got some wood for you." And I says, "Okay." I went out there. Holy mackerel, his tree was gone. He cut the whole tree down in his front yard, and he had all kinds of white oak for me. But anyway, I was tickled pink, but I thought, boy, I think I'd have left that tree. But anyway, that's how I got my wood. So we're ready to make the pattern after we get all these braces, all this apart, everything off, all the rivets out, all the steel off. Then we'll probably sandblast the steel. We'll paint that all, and then we'll cut the wood. And I'll show you when we start doing some of this stuff. It'll be interesting. I got a new blade for my bandsaw, a 1/2-inch blade, should cut that white oak. So, but that's what we're going to do. And here, this is where the pole goes on here. So I gotta make a pole for it too. But I got all the wood, so I'm real happy. So we'll have at it. We'll start measuring and cutting and fitting and planing, and we got a lot of work ahead of us, but we like projects. So we got all kinds of them going on here. So when we start taking this apart, we'll be working on it with you. We'll let you know what's happening. So you keep watching Ozzy's Oddities and watch for us. We'll be glad to have you with us. And if you got a wrench, come on and help me. See you, everybody.